So I thought I'd start my presentation off by showing you a little bit from where I'm from. This is literally my backyard. This is what I woke up to this morning. My backpack. To get there, you have to go to www.todaysmeet.com/GracieBFOL, which is Future of Learning. So you just have to type in your name, yours a name, or a fake name, and then after that, I can listen to your feedback once you talk. And everything that you write in your comments and feedback section when you talk, I can listen to that and help me get better at my presentational skills. So I thought I'd start off by telling you a story. Once upon a time, there was a baby that was born. Notice her iPod down. Notice the iPod in her hand, and notice the earplugs in her ears. Here, that baby's grandma had an iPod stroller. You just have to insert your iPhone or iPod here, and the baby can listen. While the baby's in the stroller, they can listen to music while you will show her. This man is Steve Jobs. He invented the iPhone the same year that baby was born. Here that baby is 3 years old, operating her own iPhone. Wi-Fi symbols, hashtag, Google, YouTube, QR codes, Facebook, Instagram. You might say that baby was born into a Twitterverse. In case you haven't figured it out yet, I'm that baby. Hi, I'm Gracie. I go to Kyle Elementary School. Go Blackhawks. These are my parents, Allison and Stephen and Miles. They're in their favorite city, which is Chicago, and that's actually where they got engaged 12 years ago. These are my siblings, Jacob and Sophia. I know what you're probably all thinking. Look at those adorable curls on that baby boy's head, or look at that adorable smile on that baby girl. Well, what got you thinking that? I thought today would be a good day to advertise my entrepreneurial skills and advertise today's special. If you buy one of my siblings, I'll give you the other one for free. Before anybody takes me too seriously, I want you to know I really do love these guys, and I consider myself blessed to have such a loving family. I also consider myself blessed to live in this land of opportunity where we get to go on this amazing learning journey at this particular time and place because we have access to the world at our fingertips.
Hi, I'm Gracie, Lile. Here's your present and Bob. We're going to talk about the adorable little girl. Sally, do your little girls have iPads too? Are you going to get them the new one? I'll let you think about that one. Hi, my name's Gracie. Summer's here. The only place to go is County Company's Hair Studio in downtown. Amanda and Calum have created this luxurious new full service hair salon that's located in Glasgow's historic downtown. They have everything done here. Your hair, all your skin needs, and they even have amazing nail products. They have their own skin products. They have their own mineral makeup that makes my skin completely radiant. They have a full line of Bumble and Bumble products that keeps my hair smooth and shiny for the beach. They have tons of fashion accessories. I'll take them all. Hi, Zebra. Have you heard about the book called How Full Is Your Bucket?
Full is your bucket? No, I've never heard of it.
Well, it's called How Full Is Your Bucket because everybody has this imaginary bucket on top of their head. And let's say somebody were really mean to you. And I came and your bucket could go really down because they was really mean to you. But then I could come along and I could say something really nice to you. So my bucket would go up and your bucket would go up. Isn't that cool? Hi, welcome to Gracie's kitchen. Today we're going to be making cookies. First thing, we have to get the second step, we've got to go to the fridge to get the cookies. Hi, I'm Gracie Lile. Here at the weather prediction, I'm going to tell you what it is happening on the left today. Oh, looks like it's going to be cold and windy. It's your umbrellas. So after watching that, it makes me wonder, what would a kid growing up in the digital revolution need to know and be able to do to reach success in their lifetime as like in their future? So I did what any other American girl would do, and I googled success. So it says the accomplishment or aim of a purpose. And if you look very closely, it has the answers for it. And the answers are failure, poverty, a flop, which made me remember about a video I once saw.
After being cut from his high school basketball team, he went home, locked himself in his room, and cried. He wasn't able to speak until he was almost 4 years old, and his teachers said he would never amount to much. Was demoted from her job as a news anchor because she wasn't fit for television. Fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination and having no original ideas. At age 11, he was cut from his team after being diagnosed with a growth hormone deficiency, which made him smaller in stature than most kids his age. At 30 years old, he was left devastated and depressed after being unceremoniously removed from the company he started. A high school dropout whose personal struggles with drugs and poverty culminated in an unsuccessful suicide attempt. A teacher told him he was too stupid to learn anything and that he should go into a field where he might succeed by virtue of his pleasant personality. rejected by Decca recording studios, who said, "We don't like their sound. They have no future in show business." His first book was rejected by 27 publishers. His fiancée died, failed in business, had a nervous breakdown, and was defeated in 8 elections. If you've never failed, you've never tried anything new.
So I thought we'd revisit Google's definition again of success. Failure, poverty, and a flop? I don't think that's right. And it made me remember about the time, about the end of the video when it said, if you've never failed, you've never tried anything challenging and new. Which made me remember about the first time I played softball. And as you will see, every year my stance got better as a batter. And I still haven't nailed my first buck, but after 2 seasons, I still plan to reach success. And as far as poverty goes, if my parents weren't paying the bills, because I only earn $3 a week for my chores, or doing my chores, so if my parents weren't paying all the bills, I'd probably be living in poverty. My point is, I find Google's definition confusing, at least for a 3rd grader. So maybe I'll change it. Let's say I'll change it with the tweets. And let's say I tag Google with that tweet. And let's suppose that tweet says, failure is not the opposite of success, it is the most important part of achieving it. Because my tweet actually caught somebody at Google's eye, it would be hashtag totally worth it, because I mean, Google's, gosh, pretty big, right? And I want to encourage kids to hashtag share what you think, because good ideas don't only come from adults. Hashtag kids are people too. Which I'm wondering, do you ever wonder about the future of learning might look like for kids like me? Let's begin by looking at how we play. Osmo, a challenging game. It was actually one of the things I got for Christmas a few years ago. So, one of them is called the Tengram, which is an app that you download on your iPad. As you will see, there's a little prism here that reflects onto your camera of the iPad and reflects on these little puzzle pieces. And this is the base that the iPad will sit on. So, once this one will work. So anyway, it checks for accuracy with the little pieces that the camera reflects on, and it checks for accuracy to see if you get it right. So if you get it all right, it will shade out and go with the collection and give you that you've already done and give you a new puzzle to complete. There's also the GRREC for kids. It's kind of like the GoPro for adults. It captures video and pictures on the go. Just attach it to something. When you're sledding, or in my case, 4-wheeler riding, or if you just want to attach it to your goggles and go under. Don't want to do that again. And go on the water with it, and it'll attach to your goggles, and you can take pictures of you flipping into the water and swimming under the water. There's also the Goldie Block series, which I hope I get the new zip lining because it teaches girls their engineering skills. But I thought I'd share with you the one that I did get. It teaches you how to build a zoetrope. In case you don't know what a zoetrope is, it is like this little circle that I had to make, a sphere. And I don't know if you can see, but there's these little animated cards, and there's some in there. There's this crank and this like little, I don't know what you would call it, this little rubber orange thingy, a pulley. It's a little pulley, and there's this crank that you just crank it, and the faster you go, like I did this little drummer girl. And the faster the crank went, it actually looked like she was playing the drums. And it's also been great growing up with influences like Sesame Street.
2 plus 2 is... Oh boy. Mama would never get it right.
You try to add up the numbers came out wrong. You try to add and you get the right answer. And that's what you get with the power of the air.
Sesame Street, you gotta love them. So it was great just knowing the power of a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. When we were just 4 and 5, we were learning that a growth mindset is you think, when I fail, I learn. But a fixed mindset is when you think, when I fail, I'm no good. So, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up yet. I might want to be a doctor, but I don't know all the human anatomy yet to actually be a doctor yet. Let's say I want to be an author, but I don't know all the proper vocabulary to use yet. Or let's say I want to compose a symphony, but I don't know all the proper music to actually put into my song. And let's say I also want to introduce new Apple products, but I don't know all the technology tools to actually do that yet. But I do know one thing. There is a difference between not knowing and not knowing yet. So you might be wondering, why is this little girl telling a story to all of us adults? It's because stories create a picture in your mind called an engram. And did you know you are 40 times more likely to remember a story than just a list of facts? Because if I told you the story of the 3 little pigs, you would remember that than just a list of there were 3 little pigs, went to the woods, defeated a wolf. You were more likely to remember the story than just that list. So, and I also think it's important that you know my story. My story is, I am a digital learner. And if you're a digital learner, there's a world of possibilities. So, now let's talk about something called an interactive website, which supports one of my favorite obsessions. So, and you will notice in the corner there's a beginner level if you don't know that much about the brain. If you already know some things about the brain, you can go to the intermediate. And if you already know a lot about the brain, but you just want to keep growing, you can go to the advanced. Here's some things I do know about the brain. It kind of looks like cauliflower. There's a left hemisphere and a right hemisphere. And they're both folded up, but if you actually unfolded them and flattened it out, it would kind of look like a pizza, a very big pizza. It's wet, a fragile mass, weighs about 30 pounds, and it fits in your palm. It's the size of a grapefruit, but it's shaped like a walnut. There are 2 sides to the brain, a left side and a right side. So the left side stores your list of your facts and your math and your science. The right holds creativity, imagination, and your visual. But what I found really striking was that the left side holds the lyrics to songs and the right side holds the tune of songs. So I guess you could say Taylor Swift uses both sides of her brain when she shakes it off. Steve Jobs, for example, a left brain thinker. He's a science and math guy, but he had to have a lot of creativity while he was creating all that Apple products. And he had to have the power of a growth mindset. He decided to take a calligraphy class to, take calligraphy? But he found it fascinating. And 10 years later, he designed it all into the Mac, which was the first computer with beautiful typography. Another example, my dad and my mom. My dad's mostly a left brain thinker. He loves spreadsheets, a number cruncher. He's a linear thinker, and he's a Windows computer guy. My mom, on the other hand, is a right brain thinker. She's creative, artistic, she sees the big picture, and she's a Mac girl. Together, they have this amazing company called Style Homes, making family dreams come true by building beautiful, customized homes. So if you're looking for a lake house on the weekend, see me after the presentation and I'll pick you up. Another example, Sagata Mitra. He had a very interesting hypothesis, and that hypothesis was if he gave a person that had never seen a computer before and they just started interacting and playing with it, they could learn the basics of going on the internet and playing games and stuff, or go on that interactive website after a while. He did a very interesting experiment in New Delhi, 1999, which is the capital of India. That very interesting experiment is called the hole-in-the-wall experiment. Literally, he cut a hole in a wall and stuck a computer in it. And seriously, once one kid actually interacted and played with it and learned all the basics, that kid taught another kid, and that kid taught another kid. So what do you think? Sagana Mitra, a left brain or a right brain thinker? I have a payday. Anybody?
I think probably a right brain thinker. I get a payday?
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
thank you.
Anybody else? I kind of think he's both.
I think he's both too.
Mr. Burley,
Another
thank
Yeah,
example.
both over here. Both.
Here's some things you should know about him. He's an agriculture teacher, which is science.
I
He's
think you got
also
that
a singer,
permission.
which is music. He has passions like missionary work and keeping kids safe like me. So what do you think, Mr. Murley, a left or a right brain thinker?
I think he's more like a grapefruit.
I got it. How about a lane brain?
Oh.
Somebody give this to him.
It's a new category.
There you go, Mr. Murley.
Thank you, Gracie. You owe me more than that, baby.
Okay. One more example. Me. You know my story. What do you think? A left or a right brain thinker? Who said that? I don't know who said that.
Jim Flynn.
Who said that?
He got several.
Who else said that?
Right here.
I've actually been working on both. My left brain and my right brain. My left brain I've been working on building my vocabulary, my science thinking, and my math thinking. But I've also been working on my right brain qualities, like my music abilities, artistic abilities, and my creative thinking. People often ask me about Windows 9, Chromebook, and iPad, which one's my favorite. I often say that they're just devices. It's our thinking that makes those devices powerful. In the future of learning, individuals will need to have their left brain qualities as well as their right brain qualities. There's no doubt the digital revolution is a big part of the future of learning. Now let's talk about life-changing, mind-blowing work being done in science labs today all around the world. We now have better medicines, and therefore they're helping us live longer. But because we are living longer, our organs tend to wear out, and sadly inherently there aren't enough organs to go around. Scientists are looking at regenerative medicines, or lizards, for example. If they lost a body part, they could just grow it back. So they ask themselves, why can a lizard do this and not a human, like me, or like you? But they had to face a few challenges to be able to do this. They had to get a biomaterial, much like our shirts are made out of, to live inside the human body. Then they had to get cells growing inside of the body. Then they had to get blood simply flowing through that organ to make it live. This is a
Another technology
this is
that
a
we use
3D
is actually
printer.
that of printing.
And this is a
This is
real
actually
printer,
a
but they're not
desktop
using
inkjet printer,
ink. They're using
but instead of
cells.
using ink,
And after like
we're
45
using cells.
minutes, it elevates itself up.
You can
And you can
actually
actually
see here
just
the
pop
printer
that
going
out
through
and it
printing
plunks it
the
inside the human
structure.
body.
It takes-
See what happens when science and math thinking, creativity, which is right brain thinking, and you take advantage of the digital revolution, and you have the power of a growth mindset, equals amazing things, like being able to print human body parts to save lives. I actually got to touch a 3D printer, and they didn't let me make human body parts, which is what everybody wants to do, but they did let me make a little red castle, which I guess is pretty good too. Not. What I've always thought is you have to know the past to understand the present. And that's actually a quote by Carl Sagan. So, I have a quick question. What is this? Just tell me what this is? Anyone? Oh, thank you. I have a few questions. Did you have ginormous pockets to fit this in? And how did you take pictures with this? Speaking of old phones, I got to visit a booth on the history of phones. And as you can see by the confused look on my face, I didn't even know what they gave me. My grand had to explain that you have to put your finger in a hole technically. And then, if the number was 409, you have to go 4, let it go back. 0 was like way down here, and you had to go 0, let it go back. Then you had to go 9, let it go back. And then the numbers were as long as they are now, so it would take forever. Seriously though, let's talk serious. There was a time when you had to put film inside a camera and then take all your pictures, and it says here there's 24 of them, and then without deleting or seeing any of them, you had to take them to Walmart, get them developed, and after days of waiting and waiting and waiting, you just had to go get them, then find out that half of your pictures are bad, and then you have to keep all the good ones. But what if they were all bad? You just have to throw away all your money. There was a time when there was no Wi-Fi though. To be connected, you had to dial up. Does this look familiar and does this sound familiar? I don't know about you, but this sound gets on someone's nerves. Okay, before that busts that someone's eardrum, I just want you to know I have this deep appreciation for people that went through so much just to use the internet. So, I have a quick question. How many people sitting in the audience today, but ever, show of hands please, how many people have taken computer classes or workshops to actually learn how to use a device or any kind of device, including software? Well, welcome to the app generation. Apps are simple and intuitive. There are shortcuts. You just have to switch it on, touch the screen, enter an app. No class is needed. So, there's also the Apple Watch, and I've got to say, I'm pretty jealous of my parents today because they both got Apple Watches for Christmas, and I'm the one that has to provide all the technical support to actually help them. And I'm the one that even introduced them to the product. But no, Grace's too young to have a smartphone and an Apple Watch. So basically, it monitors your time, obviously, because it's a watch. And then it has, you can text, you can call, has your pictures, has a camera, and it also monitors how many steps you walked a day. But something my parents say I'm not too young for is that dental health. Sure, every kid wants this. It's an app that connects to this toothbrush here, and as you will see, these actually talk together. So, it tells you if you're brushing regularly, monitors your brushing time, tracks the teeth you miss. Sure, Mom and Dad, everybody wants that. Well, anyway, there's also the 3D pen that actually lets you draw in thin air. And there's the power of apps. As you can see, the power of apps can be a springboard to greater aspirations. This is an app called Explain Everything. It helps to empower student learning, interactive features. It has drawing tools, audio recording, and adding photos, and it personalizes student learning. Here's something I did do with Explain Everything.
You have $10 to spend on chocolate, but the store only has Hershey bars, $2 each, and each Tootsie Roll costs $1 each. How many ways can you spend all your money without getting any change back? Hershey. And then here I'm going to put my $sign, because each of these are $2. My $sign, $2. And then, since I've got my Tootsie Rolls, this is an 8. All these add up to 8. And plus 2 equals 10. and then that would give us no change. And then let me go. On the previous screen, I showed you one solution to the problem. Now I'm going to write out all the possible solutions through a table. And so the H stands for Hershey's and the T stands for Tootsies. So I'm going to make my table. So I have 5 Hershey's because 5 times 2 equals 10. So I have $0 to spend on Tootsies. Now I have 4 times 2 equals 8. So I have $2 to spend on Tootsies. Now I'm going to write an equation that will answer this problem. 4 times 2 is 8, and then 2 times 1 equals 2, and 8 plus 2 equals 10, and that is how I got my problem.
As you will see, apps easily make learning visible. It's easy to share student work. Kids are able to talk about their thinking and learning, and that makes me feel like a rock star. Have you ever thought about this? You adults today are the last pre-internet generation. You are the last people to know what it was like without the internet. The kids that I go to school with are the first internet generation. We are the first global generation. We have never known the world without the internet. So I was at my grand's. I happened to see my grand working on a slide at her house the other day, and it said Gallup poll. So I looked at it and actually got my stinky little eyes on it, and I saw that only 22% of college graduates in America say I had a mentor that encouraged my goals and dreams. So college graduates in America say only 22% that they had a mentor, and that made me remember about all the amazing mentors that I've had, like Superintendent Smith from for Russell Independent Schools, and Superintendent Reed from Adair County Schools, Superintendent Tenius from Burlingame Independent Schools, Miss Bratcher from Carnegie Learning. But one that's very near and dear to my heart is Mr. Waddell. He said this in front of all of Edmonson County. He said, Edmonson County, this is why we do everything we do. And I will never forget how that made me feel. Which here I'm wondering again, what will I accomplish in my future? Will I be college and career ready? One day will people say, Gracie experienced success in her lifetime? So, I'd like to introduce you to a contest that I'm seriously thinking about entering. It's called the Dream Out Loud Challenge. The contest gives you $1,000 for a college scholarship, and it gives you $500 for your school or public library. So, here's my solution that I thought I would do. I want kids, not just the kids I know, not just your kids, but all kids, to have a digital device as early as possible in their age, to have a digital device in their hands, so that would give them all the opportunities and experiences that I had, which I would really like. So if you will look in your folders, you each have a copy of my resume. And as you will see in your folders, I've had a lot of opportunities, and I've had lots of experiences. And I've had digital learning at my fingertips since I was just a kid. So this is how I think I will change the world after college. So to sum up all this presentation, it says, a successful life is getting up more times than falling down. So as we some time now, and I hope you remember that I started off by telling you a story. But every story must come to an end. And I don't want you to think of it as an ending. I want you to think of it as a new beginning. A new beginning to how you can help the digital learners in your world. Thank you for all your time and have a good rest of the day.